Hello friend! In this video, we're going to see how to change the footer text of your site created with WordPress in a very simple and fast way. This is a task that is necessary in many websites. However, there are some themes providers that do not include the option to perform the change of these strings that we see here, or they do include it but they can be very hidden and it is not so easy to get to these options. Let's learn how to perform the replacement in this video. I have my WordPress site here. I've already installed a few themes, so we're going to see this issue with some of them. We're going to start with a theme called 20. The first thing we're going to do is install a plugin. So let's go to the plugin section, add new, and we're going to search for the keyword search and replace. We're going to perform the installation of this plugin real-time find and replace. We're going to click on Install Now. We're going to activate the plugin that we just installed. And now that we have installed the plugin, we're going to find in the Tools section. Here we see it. Let's select this option. And this opens the dashboard of the graphical interface of the tool. Here, what we're going to do is click on this button that says Add to add a new replacement. This plugin is going to search the database for a text string and change it to another string of your choice. What is this string going to be? Well, this string will be any text you want in HTML format. So, ideally, we'll replace this string that we see here with a custom string. What we're going to do is we're going to open a new tab in our browser. We're going to go to Google and we're going to search Online HTML Editor. Let's click on the first link. All these tools are very similar. And here we're going to indicate that we want to create a new document to write the text that is going to replace what we have in the footer. Let's proceed to write the text, for example, this string in Spanish. Once we have this text, if you notice, this editor on the right side will generate the HTML code so that we do not have to be creating it ourselves. We can carry out a more complex formatting as part of this editor. For example, we can select this text and we can insert a link so that when a user clicks on the text, the user is redirected to another page. Then we can insert a URL. The text is going to be this text. We can put a title, but we're going to leave it as it is. In Target, we can indicate that we want to open a new window. We click OK, and we already have a hyperlink here. We can do more complex things, such as coloring all the text with a background. Let's indicate that we want a background color. Let's select a blue color, for example. And let's select the text again, but this time to place the text in white. Okay, so we have here a footer or a string that we're going to position in place of the one we have here. You can make this as complex as you want. The next step then is to go back to the site with the theme where we want to make the change. And what we're going to do is right click on the page, click on the option View Source Code of this page. This loads all this code that is actually the one that is drawing the web page. What we are interested in looking for are some words to locate this text that we have here, so we're going to look for the number 2020. Okay, this returns a reference. However, if you notice, this has nothing to do with what we have specified here. Let's then place a space. With this, we're positioned to the code that is drawing this text that we see here. If you notice, here we have some keywords in our text. First, we have this word symbol that's actually the one that's specifying this symbol that we see here. Then we have a space, we have the number 2020, and then we see a link to the page localhost/local, and we have the keyword local, which is actually this link. It's a URL or a link to another web page. We must be careful and always do the replacement between the p tags or the div tags. The p tag refers to it being a paragraph, so this tag that we have here, we are not going to touch it, and we are going to touch from the text that we want to modify, in this case this symbol. Then we go back and we're going to copy the symbol followed by the 2020, followed by the link that specifies the local word. We're going to copy all of this. Notice that we're not touching anything in this p tag. We're going to leave it as is. You will also notice that on this page we have another link that says powered by WordPress. We are also interested in changing this text, but for the moment we're only going to change the first text. So let's copy this text. We're going to go back to the tool to find a string in the database, and where it says find, we're going to paste the content that we found in the source code for the web page. And in this second section that says replace, we're going to go to the HTML editor, copy the source code that the tool generated. Copy all the content, go back to WordPress, paste the text, and click on the button that says update settings. Okay, you are done updating this content. If we go back to the website and refresh the page, notice that we already have the link we created earlier. With this, we have changed the footer easily. We are now going to remove this text, which could be replaced by other text, but in our case we want to remove it completely. Then we return to the source code that we had seen previously. Let's go to the next section of the section we edited, which was this p tag. This p tag that follows is the one that is creating this link with the text powered by WordPress. Remember that you have to replace the content inside the p tag or inside a div tag. In this case, as we find a p tag, we're going to take all the content that is inside it. We copy all the content, we go back to the tool, we're going to indicate that we want to search for this text, and in the replace with section, we're going to leave the text box blank. That is to say, we're going to leave this string empty. Click on update settings. It is already updated. We update the web page. Here, if you notice, we updated the web page and it showed us again the content that we had before. Why is this happening? Well, because the plugin must have a record for each of the changes we want to apply. In this case, as we did the replacement with an empty string, let's click on Add to create a new record. I'm going to do the same of the first replacement, but in an accelerated way. We refresh the web page and notice that now we already have the text that we had specified, and the second string that we saw previously does not appear. With this, we have managed to change the text of the footer completely. I'm going to change the theme so you can see another example. I'm going to go to the theme section and I'm going to use the abstract theme, which is quite popular. I update the home page and we already see the page with the theme applied. Here we have the footer text. Let's carry out the same steps. We're going to right click, view source code of this page, and we're going to look for the word copyright. Then we look for copyright, and here we have this copyright text, the symbol we had seen before, this symbol, and then the number 2020. So in this case, we're finding the copyright inside a div tag. Remember that we're not going to touch this, and instead we're going to touch the content that is inside the tag. So let's take the content that is the copyright string. If you find inside the content a span tag or an A tag, you can take those as well. So let's take all the content. Remember that this div is the closing tag. This one we have here. Then take care not to make the mistake of taking a tag that does not correspond. Once we have taken the correct content, we copy it. We return to the plugin. Let's indicate that we want to add a new string. We paste this content. We go back to the HTML editor since we are going to want this tag to be the one displayed on the website. Then we do a replace for this series of tags, indicate that we want to update the settings. And if we go back to the web page, notice that we have successfully changed the footer again. Let's apply this change to a third theme so that it is clear and you can continue practicing. We're going to place one of these themes as the home theme, such as this WP Calibri. We activate it as the main theme. We update the web page. And if we notice, this theme also has a string in the footer. Let's proceed again to right-click on the page, view page source code, search for 2020. And although it would seem that this result does not position us in the string that we see here, if you look, we have 1 of 20 matches. So we will continue looking for the one that is closest to the text of the footer. Let's go to the next result. We can see that this doesn't look anything like it. Let's go to the next result, the next, and so on until we get to this result that we see here. And if we look closely, this looks more like what we have in the footer, that is, it is the same string. This means that this result is really the one we are interested in. Remember that we're going to take only the content inside the div tag. We have here the start of the div tag, we have the closing here, so let's copy this content. Let's go back to the plugin, let's add a new record, we paste this content, let's go to the HTML editor, we copy the result, paste it in the tool and click on Update Settings. Okay, let's go back to the website, update the information, and as you can see, we have already changed the footer text again. Now, what happens if you make a mistake and for some reason you want to revert the change? Well, here what you would have to do is go back to the plugin, and if you click on the button that says Remove and then click on Update Settings, if you go back to the web page, notice that at the bottom already appears again the original string. With this then you can carry out the application of changes and reverse the process. If you made a mistake in any way, we see that it is a really safe process that you do not have to be afraid to perform these steps. If you liked this video, I recommend you to subscribe to the channel, click on the notifications bell and share the video with your other friends so they know how to perform this task. See you in the next video.